Wake up in the morning, look at the snow report, it's going to be sick.
Oh, just bring it on.
Heavy snow has arrived and it's piling up on the roads.
Our plows are ready to go out.
From the closures to a look at conditions across the metro, we've got you covered.
I'll have the latest radar and accumulations coming up.
Teachers threatened in Douglas County.
This was aggressive. It was a cowardly act.
Douglas School Board prepares to fast-track hiring a superintendent less than 2 weeks after firing the old one.
I'm really concerned about it. It's scary how politicized education has become.
And you've heard of Colorado's Move Over law? Well, here's one driver who missed out on the message. Well, the winter storm has begun and snow's already starting to pile up on our roads. It's a live look at I-25 up near Johnstown, where we've seen a few crashes along the interstate that thankfully have since been cleared.
All right, let's switch over, take a live look at downtown Denver. Snow is falling and will keep falling overnight, which means the morning commute's not going to be great either. Good evening. Glad you're with us tonight. I'm Shannon Ogden.
I hope you're staying warm. I'm Ann Trujillo. Thanks for joining us. Let's get straight to our team coverage for what the snow looks like right now across Colorado. Also, meteorologist Mike Nelson's tracking when the snow will move out.
All right, first, Denver 7's Ivan Rodriguez live at Ruby Hill. I'm going to take a guess that the boarders and sledders and skiers out behind you are enjoying the snow.
They're definitely enjoying the snow. We saw a couple people during the day and they told me it was a little icy before, but now it's just really pure excitement for these guys. And as the snow's gone on, we've really seen even more and more people come out to Ruby Hill Rail Yard. To give you guys a sense, those trees all the way back there, when we were here about noon, all that was dry. Now it's just completely covered in snow. Between 4 to 7 inches of snow are expected to fall in Denver between now and midnight. This storm is hitting right at that same time as evening rush hour traffic, which could also make the way home a little bit slower. Denver's Department of Transportation tells me it has its plows out across all 54 routes, working to keep those roads clear. They tell me the moment the snow started, they already had snow plows throwing a de-icing mix on the ground so that when cars drive over it, the snow will break up easier.
Right now, we're getting all of our trucks loaded, ready to go. Our heavy plows will be out. We have roughly about 54 routes throughout the city. So our goal is going to be focusing on those main roads.
All day, we've also seen skiers and snowboarders out on Ruby Hill Rail Yard. Some told me again it was a little icier today, and they're really looking forward for the rest of this snowstorm, especially going into tomorrow morning to see that snow fill in even more.
All this needs really is like an inch or two, so 4 to 7, we're going to get a little spoiled.
I think it'll be a lot of powder, softer landings if you fall, won't get hurt as much, you know?
Now, when it comes to those roads, the Department of Transportation says those big plows are going to be covering those major roads. But when it comes to the residential plows, we aren't going to be seeing those during this storm. The main reason is because we're expecting temperatures to warm up as we head closer to that weekend. Live at Ruby Hill, Ivan Rodriguez, Denver 7.
And we are here in Central City, about an hour away from the Denver Metro. We're in Gilpin County. Population about 6,000, tourist area, and we've seen a lot of them come down here. It's been snowing about 4 or 5 hours now from our early afternoon hours. Expecting about 8 inches here. I know it's a little bit more than the Denver Metro. It's about 6 inches in the Metro. Roads here in the elevations of 9,000, much more narrow. The incline and the pathways are usually one way in, one way out. So we've been seeing a lot of snow plows coming up and down the streets here on residential areas and in the nearby highways and in commercial areas as well. Even with that effort, though, we've been seeing a lot of cars sliding around. In fact, just about 10 minutes ago, we saw one slide into a curb. Impact was hard enough to have airbags go off. But then again, for the locals here, whenever it snows, it's always a cozy time.
I love the snow, and it's part of Colorado. I guess if I lived in Miami, I'd think it was a little weird, but we have to endure, right? And so we embrace it, and it's a big part of Colorado's economy. So it's all good. Tourism's good.
tourism is good, and a lot of tourists come to gamble here. Every other establishment is literally a casino in this area. I don't play slots, Shannon, but if I put my money on anything, with all those slick roads out there on the highways, it's probably going to be a couple hours until we're back at the station.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. Ivan, thank you. All right, from the snow to inside, Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson tracking the snow. So, Mike, this will last long enough to complicate the morning commute too.
Yeah, and we'll probably put our money on about 6 inches of snow for the downtown area from this particular storm if we want to carry on that theme from Brian. This is what it looks like currently in downtown Denver. This is what it looks like in Boulder on the Pearl Street Mall, so already a couple of inches of accumulation there. And on radar there is plenty of snow, the darker colors indicating the heavier band, so a little heavier band down around the Ken Carroll area heading over towards Centennial now. And remember with snow that the radar is seeing up to about 10,000 feet. Takes those flakes a while to flutter down, so sometimes, even though it looks like you've got that darker band right over you, it's going to take a half an hour or so for the heavier snow to get down to where you are. This is what it looks like currently along the Front Range. We have winter storm warnings in effect till 5 a.m. Winter weather advisory back up into the mountains until 5 a.m. covers much of the central part of the state. This will move from north to south, with the heaviest snows pushing down near New Mexico by early tomorrow morning. Temperatures dropping tonight. That's going to ice things up. I'll have more details on that and just how much snow to expect in your neighborhood in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Mike. And driving is going to be tricky today, and state troopers are reminding everyone to move over for law enforcement. I want you to take a look at this video. This is yesterday before the snow hit, I-25 near Grizzly Rose in Denver.
Are you okay?
Wow, golly. Thankfully, everybody in this video is okay, walked away with minor injuries, and Colorado's move over law requires everybody to move over one lane from a police or emergency vehicle, and if you are unable to do that, reduce your speed to at least 20 miles per hour.
And listen, our Denver 7 team will keep tracking snow conditions overnight to give you the most up-to-date information for tomorrow morning's commute. So that coverage in the morning begins at 4:30. You can also find our 24/7 weather stream on the free Denver 7 Plus app. Right now, Douglas County School Board meeting, it's just beginning.
It's being held remotely because of the snow. The focus will be on the hiring process for a new superintendent to replace Corey Wise, who was fired earlier this month.
The board is hoping to vote on finalists by next Thursday. And to put that in perspective for you, Denver Public Schools took 6 months to find their current superintendent. That process included a large community survey and more than 30 meetings with community groups and parents.
Now, Doug Coe intends to post the new superintendent job on its website tomorrow. Then over the next week, the board will review applications. Next Thursday, they plan to vote on the finalists. Now, also today, some Douglas County teachers discovered these flyers on their cars, appearing to threaten the union that disagrees with Wise's firing.
Well, Denver 7's Megan Lopez is joining us live tonight. She's in Douglas County without a whole lot of snow out there, I might point out. So, Megan, you spoke with teachers who got those flyers on their cars.
I did, Ann and Shannon, and I also spoke with teachers who are potentially going to have their names released as part of a Colorado Opens Records Act request that was sent to the district for calling out of the district earlier this month. Those teachers tell me that they're frustrated, they're worried, and they're being caught up and
politics at play here.
One of the student leaders sent me a picture, sent me a text message at about 8:05, 8:15, just saying, hey, you need to see this.
A flyer left on the cars of several teachers at 2 schools with a stark warning.
You are bad, get out and leave. All teachers' unions are bad. Teachers' unions are not for the kids and not for the parents. The whole nation sees that.
Teacher Megan Gray found those letters left on the cars of those who painted their windows in support of former Superintendent Corey Wise.
It's been jarring, it's been heartbreaking, so many different emotions to cycle through. This was aggressive, it was a cowardly act. It just felt really uncomfortable.
The letters come 2 weeks after dozens of teachers called out sick from school to protest the superintendent's firing. Then,
kind of want there to be a published list of everybody every teacher that calls in sick
for tomorrow from Douglas County. I think it ought to be posted.
Some, like former District Attorney George Brockler, called for the teachers' names to be publicly released. Then on Tuesday,
teachers also received an email yesterday talking about how there would be a list published.
Megan was willing to talk on camera today because she says it's important to set an example for her students.
I'm really concerned about it for my friends and my colleagues.
Many other teachers Denver 7 spoke with feared retaliation for speaking up. One spoke to us anonymously, saying it's unfair to post their names.
I understand if you are an elected official that your information is public. Who you are, what you say, what you do is public. I was not elected to be a teacher. I chose to be a teacher. I love being a teacher. I love my students.
The letters, the emails, just the latest chapter in the drama and politics that's been plaguing the Douglas County School District.
This is just not the way to handle conflict.
So we reached out to the Douglas County School District to figure out what they're doing about those letters, and they told us in a statement that the district security and local law enforcement is going to be investigating them. So then we reached out to the Parker Police Department, and Parker says they did investigate those letters and found no crime was committed. So it appears that the investigation, at least for the police department, stops there, guys. That meeting for Douglas County School District is happening right now. I'm live. Megan Lopez, Denver 7.
And we are watching and waiting to see what happens. Thank you, Megan. So, yes, we're listening in on the meeting. We'll let you know what comes of it tonight at 10 o'clock. And if the board allows public comments, we're sure that things could get interesting. You can also read our in-depth coverage of what's led up to this point in Douglas County schools. You'll find all of that on thedenverchannel.com.
Lincoln Hills is magical, and I look at it as something that's very special in our history.
Welcoming everyone to Colorado's great outdoors.
For anyone looking for a summer escape, we're taking a trip back in time to a mountain resort.
It was one of the, let's say, few places that in Colorado where black people could travel and find a safe haven.
And one Colorado town has been ranked as one of the most expensive housing markets in the nation.